I was standing in the intensive care unit by the button to turn off the life support machine of my terminally ill daughter. I called my wife 30 times, but she was too busy with her work husband to pick up. At that moment, I decided to turn on the camera at her office. But when I heard my wife's conversation, I froze. I'm standing in front of a machine that's keeping my daughter alive, and my hand won't stop shaking. It's not the kind of shaking you get from cold or fear. Though God knows there's plenty of both in this room. It's the tremor that comes from holding your entire world in your palm and knowing that no matter what you choose, you're about to drop it. The ICU is quiet except for the rhythmic hiss and beep of Emma's ventilator, a sound I've memorized over the past 72 hours the way other fathers memorize their children's laughter. Hiss, beep, hiss, beep. Each cycle a reminder that she's here, that she's still fighting, that I haven't lost her yet. But Dr. Reyes used a word this morning that's been echoing in my skull ever since. Irreversible. Emma is 7 years old. She has her mother's dark curls and my stubbornness, and 3 days ago she was complaining about having to eat broccoli. Now she's a small shape under white sheets, her face half hidden by tubes and tape, and I'm being asked to make a decision that no parent should ever have to make. Mr. Chun, the nurse, Marissa, her name tag says, though I've forgotten it 6 times already, speaks softly from the doorway. Have you been able to reach your wife? I look down at my phone. 32 missed calls now. I've lost count of the texts. The screen shows Sarah's contact photo. Her laughing at the beach last summer, Emma on her shoulders, both of them soaked and glowing. That woman feels like someone I knew in another lifetime. No, I say, and my voice sounds like it's coming from underwater. She's not picking up. Marissa nods with the practiced sympathy of someone who's seen this particular tragedy play out before. Families fragmenting under pressure. Last-minute absences. The mathematics of grief dividing people rather than multiplying their strength. The doctor said we have until 3 o'clock. I continue, checking my watch. It's 2:17 p.m. 43 minutes to decide whether to let my daughter go. She'll call back. She has to. But even as I say it, I know it's a lie. Sarah hasn't answered her phone in 6 hours. Not since I called her at 8 a.m. to tell her that Emma had crashed overnight, that the seizures had caused catastrophic brain damage, that we were out of options. She'd said, "Oh my God, David," in a voice thick with tears, and then, "I'm leaving right now. I'll be there in 20 minutes. That was 6 hours ago. The hospital is 17 minutes from her office. I've called her cell 32 times. I've called her assistant 4 times. I've called the main office line twice and been told both times that Mrs. Chun is in a meeting and cannot be disturbed. The second time I called, I didn't ask politely. I told them my daughter was dying. The receptionist put me on hold for 8 minutes before coming back to say that Sarah would call me as soon as she was available. Available. My daughter is dying, and my wife is not available. I want to scream. I want to put my fist through the wall. I want to grab every person in this hospital and shake them and ask them how this is possible, how the universe can be so fundamentally broken that a mother would miss her daughter's last hours because she's in a meeting. Instead, I call again. It rings 4 times and goes to voicemail. Sarah's voice, bright and professional. "Hi, you've reached Sarah Chun. I'm unable to take your call right now, but please leave a message and I'll get back to you as soon as possible." I don't leave another message. I've left 11 already, each one more desperate than the last. The early ones were informative. "Sarah, please call me back. It's about Emma." Then urgent. "Sarah, I need you here. Now." Then breaking. "Sarah, she's dying. Please. Please pick up." The last few have just been me saying her name and hanging up. I look at Emma. At my baby girl. Her chest rises and falls, but only because a machine is doing it for her. Dr. Reyes explained it to me this morning in terms I could barely process. Brain death. No electrical activity. The seizures had been too severe, too prolonged. Her body was still functioning. But Emma, my Emma, who cried during sad commercials and insisted on reading bedtime stories to her stuffed animals, was already gone. "The machines are breathing for her," Dr. Reyes had said, his hand on my shoulder. "But she's not experiencing anything, Mr. Chun. She's not in pain. She's not there anymore." I'd asked him how he could be sure. He'd shown me scans, pointed to flat lines where there should have been peaks and valleys of neural activity. He'd used phrases like brainstem reflexes and cerebral perfusion, that meant nothing to me except, "Your daughter is gone, and all that's left is the shell." And still, looking at her now, I can't believe it. She looks like she's sleeping. Like if I just waited long enough, she'd open her eyes and ask for water and complain about the scratchy hospital blanket. How can she be gone when I can still see her breathing? But it's not her breathing. It's a machine. At 2:27 p.m., I open the tracking app on my phone. I hate myself for it even as I'm doing it. Sarah doesn't know about this app. I installed it on her phone 6 months ago after she started working late more and more frequently, after the client dinners started extending past midnight, after I found the first receipt for a hotel room charged to her corporate card. I told myself I was being paranoid, that there was a reasonable explanation, that 13 years of marriage meant something. The app opens to a map with a blue dot representing Sarah's location. She's at the office. She's been at the office all day. I feel something cold settle in my chest, something that sits right next to the grief and makes it burn hotter. I zoom in on the map. Her phone is stationary, has been for hours, in the executive wing on the 15th floor. And then I remember something. 3 months ago, Sarah came home excited about a new security feature at her company. They installed cameras in all the senior offices, she'd said over dinner. For security, apparently. Some client was paranoid about corporate espionage. She'd rolled her eyes. My camera feeds to an app. Isn't that insane? Like anyone wants to watch me work. She'd show me the app briefly, logged into her account on my iPad to demonstrate. See? Total Big Brother stuff. She'd logged out after, but the iPad remembered the credentials. The iPad is in my car. I look at Emma. At Marissa standing quietly by the monitors. At the clock, 2:29 p.m. 31 minutes until I have to decide. I need to get something from my car. I hear myself say. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Marissa nods. Take your time, Mr. Chun. We're not going anywhere. The parking garage is freezing, or maybe I'm just shaking again. I unlock my car and grab the iPad from under the driver's seat, powering it on with fumbling fingers. The screen glows to life, and I find the security app in Sarah's work folder. I tap it. It opens without asking for a password. There's a list of camera feeds. Most are labeled with room numbers. One is labeled S. Chun Office. I tap it. The feed is live. I can see Sarah's office from a wide angle. Her desk, her wall of windows overlooking the city, her minimalist decor. And I can see Sarah. She's not alone. There's a man in her office. He's sitting on the edge of her desk, and she's standing in front of him, close enough that their knees are almost touching. I don't recognize him at first, just see his suit, his relaxed posture. But then Sarah laughs at something he says and tilts her head back, and I see his hand come up to rest on her waist. I know that hand. I know the wedding ring on it. It's Marcus Reed, Sarah's work husband, her boss, the COO of Redfield Dynamics, the man she's mentioned at least once a day for the past 2 years. Marcus thinks we should pivot the Q3 strategy. Marcus wants me to present at the investor meeting. Marcus says I'm being considered for VP. Marcus, who is 51 years old and married with 3 kids. Marcus, whose hand is currently sliding up my wife's back. I can't hear them. The camera has video, but no audio. But I don't need to hear them to understand what I'm watching. Sarah leans into him. His other hand comes up to cup her face. She closes her eyes. And then they're kissing. My wife is kissing another man while our daughter dies alone. I stand there in the parking garage, the iPad shaking in my hands, watching my marriage disintegrate in real time. They break apart. Sarah says something. Marcus smiles and says something back. She laughs again, and then she pulls out her phone, the one that I've been calling for 6 hours, and I watch her glance at the screen. She sees my name. I know she does, because her face changes. The laugh dies. For just a second, she looks guilty. And then she silences the call and puts the phone face down on her desk. She turns back to Marcus, says something. He nods, pulls her closer, and kisses her again. I should stop watching. I should throw the iPad across the parking garage. I should scream or cry or break something. Instead, I tap the volume button. The camera feed has audio after all. I just needed to enable it. Sarah's voice comes through the iPad speakers, slightly tinny but clear. Can't believe I'm saying this, but I think David might actually go through with it today. Marcus's voice, deeper, amused. With what? Pulling the plug on Emma. Sarah steps back from him, wrapping her arms around herself. The doctors gave him until 3 to decide. There's a pause. Marcus stands up from the desk. And you're here. I know. Sarah's voice cracks, but not the way it did this morning on the phone. This is different. Performative. I know how it sounds. But Marcus, I can't. I can't watch her die. I can't be in that room when they turn off the machines. I just can't. Hey. Marcus moves closer, his hands on her shoulders. You don't have to explain yourself to me. Everyone else is going to think I'm a monster. You're not a monster. His voice is soothing, practiced. You're human. You're allowed to have limits. David doesn't have limits, Sarah says, and there's something bitter in her tone now. David's a robot. He's been at that hospital for 3 straight days. He sleeps in a chair. He holds her hand even though she's already gone. He won't leave because he thinks somehow his presence is going to change anything. He's grieving. He's being selfish. Sarah pulls away from Marcus, pacing to the window. He wants me to grieve the way he's grieving. He wants me to sit there and watch our daughter's body shut down piece by piece. He doesn't understand that I've already said goodbye. Emma's gone, Marcus. She's been gone since Monday night. Standing in that room isn't going to change that. I feel like I've been hit by a truck. Every word is a punch to the gut. Marcus joins her at the window. What did you tell him? I said I was coming. Sarah laughs, short and sharp. This morning when he called, I said I'd be there in 20 minutes. I fully intended to go. I got in my car and everything. What happened? I got halfway there and I just couldn't. She turns to face him. I sat in the parking lot of a Starbucks for 45 minutes trying to make myself drive the rest of the way. And then I thought about what I'd have to do. Walk into that room. Look at Emma like that. Stand next to David and pretend I'm strong enough for this. And I realized I'm not. I'm not strong enough, Marcus. So you came here. So I came here, she confirms. Because this is the only place where I feel like I can breathe. Where I don't have to be Emma's mother or David's wife. Where I can just be Sarah. Marcus pulls her into a hug. She presses her face against his chest. He keeps calling, Sarah says, her voice muffled. He's called like 100 times. Are you going to answer? No. She pulls back, wiping at her eyes. What would I even say? Sorry I'm missing our daughter's death, but your grief is too heavy for me? You don't owe him an explanation, don't I? Sarah moves back to her desk, picks up her phone, looks at it. He's my husband. Emma's his daughter too. I'm the one who wanted to try the experimental treatment. I'm the one who pushed for the surgery when he wanted to keep her comfortable. I'm the one who made all these decisions that led us here, and now I can't even. Her voice breaks. Real tears this time, I think. But I'm not sure I can trust anything anymore. Marcus comes up behind her, his hands on her shoulders again. You made those decisions because you were trying to save her. No one can fault you for that. David will. David's not thinking clearly right now. No, Sarah agrees. He's just thinking about Emma. Like he always does. Like she's the only thing that matters in the world. She's your daughter. And I'm drowning, Marcus. Sarah turns around, looking up at him. I've been drowning for 7 years. Do you know what it's like? Having a sick kid? It's not like the movies where everyone rallies together and learns valuable lessons about love. It's just endless. Endless appointments and treatments and hospitalizations. Endless worry. Endless fear. I've been waiting for Emma to die since the day she was diagnosed, and now that it's finally happening, I'm supposed to be devastated. I'm supposed to fall apart. You are falling apart. No. Sarah shakes her head. I'm relieved, Marcus. I'm fucking relieved. How terrible is that? My daughter is dying, and all I can think is finally I can stop being afraid. Finally, I can stop planning my entire life around her medication schedule and her specialist appointments and her dietary restrictions. Finally, I can stop watching David look at me like I'm not doing enough, like I'm not loving her enough, like I'm failing some test of motherhood I never agreed to take. I can't breathe. The iPad is still in my hands, Sarah's face still on the screen, but I can't process what I'm hearing. This can't be real. This can't be my wife. And now you and I can finally be together, Marcus says quietly. Sarah looks up at him. Is that terrible of me? To be thinking about that right now. You're human, Marcus repeats. You're allowed to want things. I want you. Sarah's voice drops to barely a whisper, but the camera picks it up. I want a life where I'm not defined by Emma's illness. I want to travel and sleep through the night and have sex without feeling guilty that I'm enjoying myself while my daughter suffers. I want to be Sarah again, not just Emma's mom. You will be, Marcus promises. After today, after you get through this, you'll have that life. With you? With me. They kiss again. Longer this time. His hands in her hair. Her arms around his neck. I check my watch. 2:51 p.m. 9 minutes until I have to decide. I should be furious. I should be calling Sarah right now, screaming at her, demanding she explain herself. I should be forwarding this video to her family, her friends, everyone who thinks she's some kind of saint for dealing with Emma's illness all these years. But I'm not furious. I'm cold. Perfectly, crystallinely cold. Because suddenly, everything makes sense. The late nights. The client dinners. The way Sarah started dressing differently 6 months ago, buying expensive clothes, and spending an hour on her makeup before work. The way she stopped asking about Emma's treatment plan, stopped coming to doctor's appointments, started treating our daughter's illness like an inconvenience rather than a tragedy. I thought she was coping badly. I thought she was dealing with anticipatory grief. I was wrong. She was already planning her exit. Emma dying wasn't something Sarah was dreading. It was something she was waiting for. I closed the video feed and opened my messages. There's one from Dr. Reyes from 20 minutes ago. Mr. Chun, I know this is impossibly difficult, but I need to know your decision by 3 p.m. Please come find me when you're ready. I look at the iPad one more time. Sarah and Marcus have separated now. She's fixing her lipstick in a compact mirror. He's straightening his tie. They look like two people who just shared a coffee break, not two people who just celebrated a child's imminent death. I make a decision. I walk back into the hospital, through the sterile corridors, past the nurse's station, back to Emma's room. Marissa is still there, checking Emma's monitors with gentle efficiency. Mr. Chun, she says softly. Dr. Reyes is looking for you. I know. I move to Emma's bedside, take her small, cold hand in mine. Tell him I need a few more minutes. It's 2:53, Mr. Chun. I know, I repeat. Just a few more minutes. Marissa nods and slips out, leaving me alone with my daughter. Emma's hand is so small in mine. Her fingernails are painted pink. She'd insisted on it 3 weeks ago, during a good day between treatments. Like a real princess, Daddy, she'd said. The polish is chipped now, but I can still see flecks of glitter. I've been a data analyst for 15 years. My entire career is built on finding patterns, on understanding how pieces of information connect, on predicting outcomes based on available evidence. It's not glamorous work, but it's stable, and it's paid for Emma's treatments when insurance wouldn't. It's also given me a very particular skill set. I pull out my phone and open a secure folder I created 6 months ago when I first suspected Sarah was cheating. Inside is every piece of evidence I've collected since then. GPS logs showing Sarah's car at the Marriott downtown on 12 different occasions. Credit card statements showing charges for lingerie I've never seen her wear. Text messages I recovered from her iPad before she started deleting them more carefully. Calendar entries for client meetings that I verified never actually happened. And now, I have video evidence of Sarah confessing that she's relieved our daughter is dying so she can run off with her married boss. I open a new document and start typing. I'm methodical about it. Clinical. Each piece of evidence labeled, time-stamped, cross-referenced. I include Dr. Reyes's contact information in case anyone wants to verify the timeline of today. I include the security camera footage. I've already uploaded it to 3 different cloud services, just in case. I'm saving everything to a flash drive when Dr. Reyes knocks on the door. Mr. Chun, it's time. I look at him. He's a good doctor. He's been patient with me, kind to Emma. He doesn't deserve to be part of this nightmare. I need to ask you something, I say. Hypothetically, Dr. Reyes steps into the room, his expression cautious. Okay. If a parent misses their child's death, if they're not present when the decision is made to withdraw care, is there any legal repercussion for that? I know. Not legally. It's not ideal, but we can't force family members to be present. What? My wife isn't coming, I say flatly. She's not going to be here. Dr. Reyes's face softens. Mr. Chun, I'm so sorry. Sometimes people cope with grief in unexpected ways. She's cheating on me, I interrupt. Right now, while Emma is dying, she's with her boss. She told him she's relieved Emma's finally dying because it means she can start her new life. The color drains from Dr. Reyes's face. I have video evidence. I continue, my voice eerily calm. Audio too. She thinks I don't know. She thinks I'm just grieving too hard to notice that my wife would rather fuck her boss than say goodbye to our daughter. Mr. Chun, I'm going to turn off Emma's life support. I say, because you're right. She's already gone. The Emma I knew, my baby girl, she left us on Monday night. And I'm not going to make her body suffer just because I'm not ready to let go. Dr. Reyes nods slowly. That's a very brave decision. But I need you to note something in the medical records. I continue. I need you to note that Sarah Chun was contacted repeatedly throughout the day. I need you to note that she was informed of the decision timeline and chose not to be present. I need you to document that I made this decision alone. I can do that, Dr. Reyes says quietly. For what it's worth, Mr. Chun, you're not alone. The entire ICU staff has witnessed your devotion to Emma over these past days. Whatever happens next, whatever you need to do, you have people who will testify to the truth. I look at him. You understand what I'm saying. I understand, Dr. Reyes confirms that you're a father who loves his daughter and that you've been abandoned by your wife at the worst possible moment. I understand that the truth matters. And I understand that sometimes people need to face consequences for their choices. I close my eyes. Thank you. Would you like a few more minutes alone with Emma? No. I open my eyes, squeeze Emma's hand one last time. I've had 7 years with her. That's going to have to be enough. At 3:02 p.m., with Dr. Reyes and Marissa as witnesses, I authorize the withdrawal of life support. It's not like in the movies. They don't just flip a switch. First they turn off the ventilator. Then they remove the breathing tube. Emma's chest continues to rise and fall for a few moments on its own. Residual reflex, Dr. Reyes explains, and then it doesn't. The monitors alarm. Marissa silences them one by one. Emma dies at 3:07 p.m. on a Thursday afternoon in November, while her mother kisses another man 15 floors above the city. I hold her hand until it's cold. Sarah calls at 3:45 p.m. I'm sitting in the hospital chapel, a small, non-denominational room with generic stained glass and uncomfortable pews, when my phone buzzes. Her photo fills the screen. Sarah laughing, Emma on her shoulders, the beach. I let it ring 4 times before I answer. Hello, David. Her voice is tight, strained. Oh God, David, I'm so sorry. I just saw all your calls. My phone was on silent, and I was in back-to-back meetings, and I didn't realize. Emma died 38 minutes ago, I say. Silence. Then a sharp intake of breath. What? At 3:07 p.m. They removed the breathing tube, and she died 7 minutes later. It was peaceful. Dr. Reyes said she didn't feel anything. No. Sarah's voice breaks. No. David, I was coming. I was on my way. There was traffic. You're at the office, I say. You've been at the office all day. Don't lie to me, Sarah. Another pause. Longer this time. When she speaks again, her voice is different. Defensive. How do you know where I am? Does it matter? David, you don't understand. I understand perfectly. I'm still calm. Still cold. It's like I've stepped outside my body and I'm watching this conversation happen to someone else. I called you 32 times. I texted you 47 times. I had the hospital call your office. Your daughter was dying, Sarah, and you didn't pick up the phone. I couldn't, she's crying now. Or pretending to cry. I genuinely can't tell anymore. David, I couldn't handle it. I couldn't watch her die. I'm not strong like you. I'm not strong. I correct her. I'm just her father. That's not fair. You're right. It's not fair. None of this is fair. Emma didn't deserve to die at 7 years old. She didn't deserve to spend half her life in hospitals. And she definitely didn't deserve to die without her mother present because you were too busy fucking your boss to say goodbye. I hear Sarah gasp. What are you talking about? I saw you, Sarah. I watched you. The security camera in your office? The one you showed me 3 months ago? I watched you and Marcus. I heard everything you said. The silence that follows is absolute. I can almost hear Sarah's mind racing, trying to figure out what I know, what I heard, how much damage control she needs to do. David, she finally says, her voice very small. Let me explain. You don't need to explain. You were very clear. Emma dying is convenient for you. It means you can finally stop being a mother and start being Sarah again. It means you and Marcus can be together without the inconvenience of a sick child in the way. That's not, I didn't mean. You said you were relieved, Sarah. You said you've been waiting for this. Those were your exact words. David, please. I'm at the hospital. I continue. I need to sign some paperwork. Handle some arrangements. When I get home tonight, I want you gone. Gone. Out of the house. Stay with Marcus. Stay with your mother. I don't care. But I don't want to see you. Not tonight. David, you're in shock. You're not thinking clearly. Let me come to the hospital. We can talk about this. There's nothing to talk about. My voice stays level. Emotionless. Our daughter is dead. Our marriage is over. Those are just facts, Sarah. I'm very good with facts. Please don't do this. She's begging now. Please, David. I know I fucked up. I know I should have been there. But we can work through this. We can go to therapy. We can. Did you love her? I ask. At the end, did you love Emma? Of course I loved her. She was my daughter. But you were relieved when she died. Sarah's breath hitches. It's complicated. It's really not. I say. Anyway, I have to go. The social worker needs to talk to me about funeral arrangements. I'll handle everything. You don't need to be involved. David. I hang up. My hands are steady as I put the phone back in my pocket. I sit in the chapel for another 10 minutes, staring at the generic stained glass, before I stand and walk back to the ICU. Dr. Reyes finds me in the hallway. Mr. Chun, I've completed Emma's paperwork. Marissa has her belongings ready for you. There's not much, just the stuffed rabbit she had with her and the blanket from home. Thank you. And I've made the notes we discussed. Everything is documented. I look at him. I'm going to destroy her, you know. Sarah, I'm going to take everything she values, and I'm going to burn it down. Dr. Reyes doesn't flinch. I can't condone revenge, Mr. Chun. But I can say that the truth should never be hidden, especially when it concerns a child's welfare, or in this case, their death. Is it revenge if I'm just telling people what happened? That's for you to decide. Dr. Reyes puts a hand on my shoulder. For what it's worth, Emma was lucky to have you as a father. That much was always clear. I collect Emma's things, her pink rabbit named Buttons, the soft blanket she'd had since she was a baby, and walk out of the hospital. The November air is sharp and cold. It's nearly dark, the sun setting early now that we're sliding toward winter. I load Emma's belongings into my car and sit in the driver's seat, staring at the hospital entrance. I should feel something. Grief, rage, devastation. Instead, I feel nothing. Just the cold. I drive home on autopilot. Our house is in a quiet suburb, a 3-bedroom ranch that Sarah insisted on even though I pointed out it was more space than we needed. Emma will want her own room, Sarah had said, and we'll want a guest room for when my parents visit. Emma's room is still decorated the way we set it up 6 years ago. Purple walls, glow-in-the-dark stars on the ceiling, bookshelves full of stories we read to her during her good days. I stand in the doorway for a long time, looking at the space where my daughter should be. Then I close the door and go to the master bedroom. Sarah hasn't come home yet. I don't expect her to. I start pulling her clothes out of the closet, folding them mechanically, stacking them on the bed. Dresses, blouses, the expensive lingerie I've never seen her wear. I pack it all into suitcases I find in the garage. By 8 p.m., I've packed everything of Sarah's that I can find. Clothes, shoes, jewelry, toiletries. I put the suitcases by the front door. Then I change the locks. My phone buzzes. Sarah, I'm coming home. We need to talk about this like adults. I type back. Your things are by the front door? I've changed the locks. You're not welcome here anymore. Sarah, you can't kick me out of my own house. It's my house. My name on the deed. You moved in after we got married, but never contributed to the mortgage. Check with a lawyer if you don't believe me. This is true. When we bought the house 8 years ago, Sarah was between jobs. I paid the down payment and took on the mortgage solo. We always meant to add her name to the deed, but then Emma got sick and there were more important things to worry about. It's one of those paperwork tasks that kept getting pushed back. Now I'm grateful for my procrastination. Sarah, David, please. I'm sorry. I know I fucked up, but please don't do this. I don't respond. Instead, I open my laptop and start composing an email. The recipient list is long. Sarah's parents. My parents. Her siblings. Our close friends. Her co-workers, including Marcus's wife, Linda Reed. The subject line, regarding Sarah and Emma. I type for 30 minutes, choosing each word carefully. I'm not emotional. I don't rant or rave. I simply lay out the facts. Emma died today at 3:07 p.m. Sarah was not present despite being contacted repeatedly. Sarah was at her office with COO Marcus Reed. I have video and audio evidence of Sarah stating she was relieved Emma was dying. Sarah has been having an affair with Marcus Reed for approximately 6 months. I am filing for divorce. I attached the video file. I attached the GPS logs. I attached the credit card statements. At the bottom, I write, I'm sharing this not for sympathy, but because the truth matters. Emma deserved better than what she got today. She deserved a mother who loved her enough to say goodbye. Since Sarah didn't provide that, the least I can do is ensure people know the truth about why. My finger hovers over the send button for a long time. Dr. Reyes said I was brave for letting Emma go. But this feels different. This feels like dropping a bomb. Once I send this, there's no taking it back. Sarah's reputation will be destroyed. Her relationship with her family will be shattered. Her affair will be exposed. Marcus's marriage will implode. I think about Emma. About her small hand in mine as the machine stopped. About the fact that she died alone, functionally, because I was the only one there who loved her enough to stay. I hit send. The email goes out at 8:47 p.m. My phone starts ringing at 8:51 p.m. Sarah's mother. I don't answer. Then my mother. Then Sarah's brother. Then friends, one after another, flooding my phone with calls and texts. I turn off my phone and sit in the silence of my daughter's bedroom. Tomorrow, I'll deal with the fallout. Tomorrow, I'll plan Emma's funeral. Tomorrow, I'll start the divorce proceedings and the custody battle over the house and the assets and everything else that comes with dismantling 13 years of marriage. But tonight, I just sit in Emma's room, holding her stuffed rabbit, and let myself finally feel something. Grief comes in waves. That's what they tell you. But they don't tell you that sometimes grief comes with rage, with betrayal, with the bitter knowledge that while you were loving someone with everything you had, they were counting down the days until they could walk away. I cry for the first time since Monday night. Not the quiet, stoic tears I shed in the hospital when Dr. Reyes first said irreversible. These are wrenching, ugly sobs that shake my whole body. I cry for Emma, for the life she'll never have. For her 7th birthday party we planned for next month. For the fact that her last conscious moment was probably terrifying, seized and confused, and in pain. And I cry for myself. For the fool I was to believe that Sarah's distance was grief instead of apathy. For every night I worked late to pay for Emma's treatments while Sarah worked late to fuck her boss. For the marriage I thought I had, the partnership I believed in, the future I thought we were building together. Somewhere in the city, Sarah is probably with Marcus, or maybe at a hotel, or possibly sitting in her car, trying to figure out how her life just imploded. My email will have reached her by now. She'll know that everyone knows. I don't feel guilty about it. I feel cold. The messages start at 6 a.m. I've been awake all night, sitting in Emma's room, watching the glow-in-the-dark stars fade as dawn breaks through the window. My phone, which I turned back on at 5 a.m., immediately starts buzzing with a backlog of notifications. Texts, voicemails, emails, hundreds of them. I scroll through the texts first. Sarah's mother, Carol, David, please call me. We need to talk about what you said about Sarah. This can't be true. My mother, Linda, sweetheart, I'm so sorry about Emma. I'm coming over. Don't make any decisions while you're grieving. Sarah's brother, Tom, what the fuck, David? You send that email the day our niece dies. What's wrong with you? Marcus's wife, Linda Reed, I need to speak with you. Please call me as soon as possible. My best friend, James, holy shit, man. I don't even know what to say. Are you okay? Do you need me to come over? And Sarah, over and over, please delete that email. Please, David. You're destroying my life. I don't respond to any of them. Instead, I make coffee and start going through the voicemails. Sarah's is first, timestamp 9:27 p.m. last night. David, please. Please delete that email. You don't understand what you're doing. Marcus's wife, she's insane, David. She's already threatening to divorce him and take everything, and I could lose my job over this. Is that what you want? To ruin both our lives? I know I made mistakes. I know I should have been at the hospital, but this is too far. Please. I'm begging you. Carol's voicemail, 9:41 p.m. David, honey, I just got your email. I don't know what to say. I can't believe Sarah would. I need to talk to her. Please call me when you can. I'm so sorry about Emma. So sorry. Marcus's wife, Linda, 10:03 p.m. Mr. Chun, this is Linda Reed. I received your email. I'd like to speak with you about the evidence you mentioned. My lawyer has advised me not to discuss details over the phone, but I want you to know that I believe you, and I'll be filing for divorce from Marcus tomorrow morning. If you need a witness for your own divorce proceedings, I'm willing to testify. I'm sorry for your loss. My mother, 10:47 p.m. David, I'm worried about you. Please call me back. Your father and I want to come over. You shouldn't be alone right now. James, 11:23 p.m. Dude, I just watched that video. Jesus Christ. I always thought Sarah was kind of cold, but this is... I'm sorry, man. I'm so fucking sorry. Call me when you're ready. Or don't. Whatever you need. There are 47 more voicemails. I delete them without listening. At 7 a.m., there's a knock on my door. I check the security camera I installed last year, one of my paranoid purchases during the early days of suspecting Sarah's affair, and see my mother standing on the porch, a casserole dish in her hands. I open the door. David. My mother immediately pulls me into a hug, casserole and all. She smells like her lavender soap and coffee. Oh, sweetheart. I'm so sorry. Thanks, Mom. She pulls back, studying my face. Have you slept? No. Eaten. Not hungry. David Chun, you're going to eat this casserole if I have to feed it to you myself. She pushes past me into the house, heading straight for the kitchen. Where's Sarah? Gone. I kicked her out. My mother sets the casserole on the counter and turns to face me. She's 63 years old, barely 5 feet tall, but right now she looks fierce. Tell me it's not true. Tell me your wife didn't abandon Emma to sleep with her boss. I can't tell you that, Mom, because it's exactly what happened. Her face crumples. That poor baby. That poor, sweet baby. Emma didn't know, I say quickly. She was already gone by then. She didn't know her mother wasn't there. You don't know that. My mother's voice is sharp. You don't know what she could sense, what she could feel. I will never forgive Sarah for this. Never. I've never heard my mother say anything negative about Sarah in 13 years of marriage. She adored Sarah, called her the daughter I never had, bragged about her success at work to her friends. I'm filing for divorce, I say. Today, if possible. Good. My mother starts unpacking the casserole, pulling out plates, moving through my kitchen with the ease of someone who's been here 1,000 times. Your father wanted to come, but I told him you'd need some space. He's handling the calls. What calls? Everyone who got your email has been calling us. Sarah's parents. Her siblings. Half the neighborhood. Your father is running interference. She pauses, her hand on a fork. Did you really send that video to everyone? Yes. Including Marcus's wife? Especially Marcus's wife. My mother nods slowly. You've always been methodical, David. Even as a little boy, you'd plan everything out, think through every consequence. So I'm going to ask you. Did you think this through? What happens next? Sarah's life gets destroyed, I say flatly. She loses her job, probably. Her reputation. Her family's trust. Maybe Marcus too, if his wife takes him for everything he's worth. And you're okay with that? I look at my mother. Emma died alone, Mom. She died without her mother because Sarah was too busy planning her new life with Marcus to say goodbye. Am I okay with Sarah facing consequences for that? Yes. Yes, I am. My mother studies me for a long moment, then nods. Then I'm with you. Whatever you need. We eat casserole in silence. I don't taste it, but I force down a few bites to make my mother happy. She doesn't push me to talk, just sits across from me at the kitchen table where Emma used to sit, where we used to have family dinners back when we were still a family. At 8:30 a.m., my phone rings. Unknown number. I answer anyway. Mr. Chun? This is Veronica Marshall from Redfield Dynamics HR. I'm calling regarding the incident you reported involving Sarah Chun and Marcus Reed. I didn't report an incident, I say. I sent a personal email to friends and family. Nevertheless, Veronica continues, her voice crisp and professional. The email included allegations of an inappropriate relationship between 2 employees. We take such matters very seriously. I need to schedule a time to speak with you about the evidence you mentioned. The evidence is in the email. Video and audio recording. Yes, we've reviewed it. However, we need to verify its authenticity and understand the circumstances under which it was obtained. Can you come to our offices this afternoon? I just lost my daughter. I say, I'm planning her funeral. I understand, and I'm very sorry for your loss, Mr. Chun. Veronica's voice softens slightly. But this is a time-sensitive matter. Mr. Reed is our COO. Mrs. Chun is a senior analyst. If the allegations are true, we need to address them immediately. They're true. Then it shouldn't take long to verify. Would 2 p.m. work? I look at my mother, who's watching me with raised eyebrows. Fine. 2 p.m. Thank you. And again, I'm so sorry about your daughter. She hangs up. My mother leans forward. What was that about? Sarah's company wants to talk to me about the video. Are you going to go? Yes. I stand up, taking my plate to the sink. I want to watch Sarah's world burn. Is that wrong? No, sweetheart. My mother stands too, moving to hug me from behind. It's human. You're allowed to be angry. I'm past angry, Mom. I'm somewhere else now. Somewhere cold. That's shock, my mother says gently. You're in shock. The anger will come later, and the grief, and everything else. Right now your body is just trying to survive. Maybe she's right. I don't know. All I know is that I have a meeting at 2 p.m. and a funeral to plan and a wife to divorce. And somewhere in all of that I need to figure out how to keep breathing. At 11 a.m., Sarah shows up. I'm in the garage, going through boxes of Emma's old things. Baby clothes, toys, artwork from preschool. When I hear a car pull into the driveway, I check the security camera on my phone and see Sarah's Mercedes. She gets out, visibly exhausted, her makeup smeared and her clothes wrinkled. She tries the front door. Locked. She tries her key. It doesn't work. I changed the locks last night. She knocks. I don't answer. David. Her voice is muffled through the door. David, I know you're in there. Open the door. I stay in the garage, watching her through the security feed. Sarah knocks harder. Please. We need to talk about this. You can't just lock me out of my own house. My mother appears on camera, opening the front door. I can't hear what she says, but Sarah's body language tells me everything. She steps back. My mother's finger is pointing, her mouth moving rapidly. Sarah's hands come up, defensive. My phone buzzes. My mother. She's asking to see you. What should I tell her? Me. Tell her I'll see her at the divorce lawyer's office. I watch my mother relay this message. Sarah's face crumbles. She's crying, pleading. My mother shakes her head and closes the door. Sarah stands on the porch for 5 minutes before she gets back in her car and drives away. My mother finds me in the garage. She looks terrible. Good. David. My mother sits down on one of the storage boxes. I'm not defending what she did. What she did is unforgivable. But she's still a human being. She's still grieving Emma, in her own way. She said she was relieved Emma was dying. I know. I heard it on the video. My mother sighs. People say terrible things when they're overwhelmed. Sometimes they even believe them in the moment. That doesn't make them true. Are you defending her? No. My mother's voice is firm. I'm just saying that Sarah is probably going through her own hell right now. Emma was her daughter too. Then she should have been there when Emma died. I say. She should have been holding Emma's hand, not fucking Marcus. My mother flinches at the language, but doesn't argue. What are you going to do about the funeral? Plan it myself. Sarah doesn't get a say. David, she's Emma's mother. She was Emma's mother. I correct. She gave up that right when she chose not to show up. The funeral is in 5 days. Saturday at 2 p.m. Sarah can come if she wants, but she doesn't get to speak. She doesn't get to play the grieving mother. And if she brings Marcus, I'll have them both removed. My mother looks at me for a long moment. When did you get so hard? When my daughter died and my wife wasn't there? I say simply. At 2 p.m., I'm sitting in a conference room at Redfield Dynamics, facing Veronica Marshall and 2 other HR representatives. They've brought legal counsel, a stern-looking woman in her 50s who introduces herself as Patricia Mendez, Chief Legal Officer. Mr. Chun, Veronica begins. Thank you for coming in. We know this is a difficult time. Let's skip the pleasantries, I say. You want to know if the video is real? It is. You want to know how I obtained it? Sarah showed me the security system 3 months ago. I used her login credentials to access the feed yesterday when she wouldn't answer my calls. And you recorded this footage? Patricia asks. I recorded my screen while viewing the live feed. Everything you see and hear on that video happened in real time yesterday afternoon while my daughter was dying. Veronica exchanges glances with her colleagues. Mr. Chun, we need to verify that the video hasn't been edited or manipulated in any way. It hasn't. I can provide the raw file, metadata, everything you need. I work with data for a living. I know how to document evidence properly. What do you do exactly? Patricia asks. I'm a senior data analyst at Morrison Financial. I specialize in fraud detection and forensic data recovery. This information seems to carry weight. Patricia makes a note. And you're willing to testify that this video is authentic and unaltered? Yes. Why? Because, Veronica says carefully, if what's shown on this video is accurate, we have a serious problem. Marcus Reed is not just an employee, he's a C-suite executive. His conduct reflects directly on the company. And Sarah Chun, while not in a position of equal power, is still a senior analyst with direct reports. Are you going to fire them? I ask. That's not a decision we can discuss with you, Patricia says. But I can tell you that we take allegations of inappropriate workplace relationships very seriously, especially when they involve significant power imbalances. Marcus is her boss, I point out. That's not just a power imbalance. That's a violation of your own ethics policy. I looked it up last night. Veronica's eyebrows rise. You reviewed our employee handbook? It's public on your website. Page 47. Romantic or sexual relationships between supervisors and their direct or indirect reports are prohibited and may result in immediate termination of both parties. I lean back in my chair. Sarah doesn't directly report to Marcus, but he has authority over her division. I'd argue that counts. Patricia makes another note, her expression neutral. Mr. Chun, I'm going to ask you something personal. What's your goal here? What do you want from this meeting? I want Sarah to face consequences, I say. I want her to lose the job she prioritized over our dying daughter. I want Marcus Reed to lose everything he was willing to risk his marriage for. And I want the world to know what they did. Revenge, Patricia says flatly. Justice, I correct. There's a difference. Revenge is me hiring someone to beat Marcus up or slashing Sarah's tires. Justice is the natural consequence of their actions becoming public knowledge. Veronica shifts uncomfortably. Mr. Chun, we appreciate your cooperation. We'll be conducting our own investigation, which will include interviews with both Mrs. Chun and Mr. Reed. If you have any additional evidence. I do. I pull out a flash drive, sliding it across the table. GPS logs showing Sarah's location at hotels 12 times over the past 6 months. Credit card statements showing charges I can't account for. Text messages between Sarah and Marcus that I recovered from her iPad before she started deleting them more carefully. It's all time-stamped, cross-referenced, and documented. Patricia picks up the flash drive, studying it. You've been collecting evidence for 6 months? I suspected the affair 6 months ago. I started documenting everything just in case. I'm very thorough. Clearly. Patricia tucks the flash drive into her briefcase. Mr. Chun, I want to be honest with you. This information is damaging. Very damaging. If it's all verified, and it sounds like it will be, both Mrs. Chun and Mr. Reed will likely face termination. Good. Marcus Reed has been with this company for 23 years, Veronica adds quietly. He's well respected. He has advocates on the board. This is going to cause significant disruption. He should have thought of that before he fucked a married subordinate. I say bluntly. No one argues with that. The meeting wraps up at 3:15 p.m. As I'm leaving, Patricia catches my arm in the hallway. Mr. Chun, a word? I stop. Patricia glances around, then lowers her voice. Off the record? You're doing the right thing. I've worked in corporate law for 30 years, and I've seen too many men like Marcus Reed get away with this kind of behavior because no one wants to rock the boat. The fact that you have documentation, that you're willing to testify, that you're not backing down, it matters. I'm not doing it for the greater good, I tell her. I'm doing it because I'm angry and I want my wife to suffer. Your reasons don't change the outcome, Patricia says. Either way, you're holding powerful people accountable. That's rare. She walks away before I can respond. I spend the rest of the afternoon at the funeral home. The director, a soft-spoken man named Robert, guides me through options for Emma's service. Casket or cremation? Cremation. Sarah wanted cremation, mentioned it once in passing, and for some reason I want to honor that. Viewing or private ceremony? Private. I can't handle the idea of people staring at Emma's body. Flowers? Music? Programs? I make decisions on autopilot, choosing things I think Emma would have liked. Purple flowers, her favorite color. A playlist featuring Disney songs and the lullabies we used to sing to her. A small, Intimate service with only close family and friends. Will Mrs. Chen be involved in the planning? Robert asks gently. No. I understand this is a difficult time, Robert continues, but typically both parents. Mrs. Chen wasn't present when our daughter died. I interrupt. She doesn't get to plan the funeral. Robert nods slowly, making notes. I see. Well, if you'd like to review anything with. I'm making all the decisions alone, I say firmly. If Sarah tries to contact you about the service, you don't speak to her. Everything goes through me. Is that clear? Yes, Mr. Chun. I'll make a note in the file. By 6 p.m., everything is arranged. Emma's funeral is scheduled for Saturday at 2 p.m. Cremation to follow. A small reception at my parents' house afterward for the few people I actually want there. I drive home in a daze. The house is empty. My mother went home around 4 p.m. to check on my father. I heat up leftover casserole and eat standing at the kitchen counter, looking out at the backyard where Emma used to play. We installed a swing set 3 years ago, during a good period when Emma was strong enough to go outside. She'd spend hours out there, pumping her legs, shouting higher, Daddy higher. The swing set is rusted now. We haven't used it in over a year. At 8 p.m., my phone buzzes. Sarah, please let me help with the funeral. Please, David. She was my daughter too. Me? You gave up the right to be her mother when you chose not to say goodbye. Don't contact me again. Sarah. I'm coming to the funeral whether you want me there or not. Me. If you bring Marcus, I'll have you both escorted out. Sarah. I'm not bringing Marcus. I just want to bury my daughter. Me. Then come. Sit in the back. Don't speak. Don't pretend you're grieving when you told Marcus you were relieved. Sarah doesn't respond. I put my phone down and walk to Emma's room. I've been avoiding it all day, but now I make myself enter. Make myself look at the purple walls and the stuffed animals and the bookshelf full of stories we'll never read together again. I sit on Emma's bed and I let myself break. Not the cold, controlled grief from last night. This is the raw, devastating grief that I've been holding back since Monday night when Dr. Reyes first said the word irreversible. This is me finally accepting that Emma is gone, that I'll never hear her laugh again, that I'll never read her bedtime stories or help her with homework or watch her grow up. I cry until I can't breathe. I cry until my throat is raw. I cry until there's nothing left inside me but emptiness. And then, when the tears finally stop, I pull out my laptop and I start planning phase 2. Because destroying Sarah's job wasn't enough. On Friday morning, I wake up at 5 a.m. and start making calls. First, I call my divorce lawyer, a recommendation from James, who went through a brutal divorce 3 years ago. Her name is Angela Martinez, and her reputation precedes her. She's a pit bull, James told me. She doesn't fuck around, and she doesn't lose. Angela's receptionist patches me through at 8 a.m. sharp. Mr. Chun, I've been expecting your call. I read your email. The one I sent to friends and family. The same. It went viral, you know. Someone posted it on Reddit. It's all over Twitter. Your hashtag trending. I sit down heavily. What? You didn't know? Angela sounds amused. Check social media. You're a sympathetic figure right now. The devoted father whose wife abandoned him and their dying daughter. Sarah's getting crucified online. I open Twitter on my laptop. Sure enough, hashtag justice for Emma is trending. There are thousands of tweets, most of them sympathetic to me and vicious toward Sarah. Can't imagine what that father is going through. And his wife was out cheating? Disgusting. Someone needs to ID the wife and the boss. They should be unemployed. This is why I have trust issues. How do you abandon your dying child? The video is heartbreaking. You can hear her say she's relieved her daughter is dying. What kind of monster? Someone has identified Sarah and Marcus. Their names are public now, along with photos pulled from LinkedIn. There are calls to contact Redfield Dynamics and demand their termination. Someone has found Linda Reed and is sending her supportive messages. Jesus, I breathe. This is good for you, Angela says. Public opinion matters in divorce proceedings. If you're seen as the victim and Sarah's seen as the villain, it influences everything from asset division to character testimony. I didn't mean for it to go viral, but it did. So now we use it. Angela's voice is brisk, professional. Let's talk specifics. You want to file for divorce on grounds of adultery and abandonment. You want full ownership of the house since it's in your name. You want Sarah to have no claim to Emma's estate, life insurance, death benefits, anything like that? Yes to all of that. Good. How much life insurance? 100,000 through my work. Emma was the beneficiary, but now that she's gone, it goes to me as next of kin. We'll make sure Sarah doesn't see a penny of it, Angela promises. What about Emma's medical expenses? Were you carrying debt? Some. About 40,000 in uncovered treatments. But I've been paying it down. Sarah didn't contribute. She contributed to the household bills, but the medical debt was always on my credit. My responsibility. Even better. You can argue you were the primary financial provider for Emma's care. Angela pauses. Now let's talk about the affair. You have video evidence. Do you have anything else? Texts, emails, witnesses? I have everything. I pull up my files. 6 months of GPS data. Credit card statements showing hotel charges. Text messages I pulled from Sarah's iPad. And I can get testimony from Dr. Reyes about Sarah's absence during Emma's death. Dr. Reyes is the attending physician? Yes. He documented everything. He'll testify that Sarah was contacted repeatedly and chose not to come. Perfect. Angela sounds pleased. Here's what's going to happen. We file on Monday. We request an emergency hearing for asset protection. I'll argue that Sarah might try to liquidate marital accounts or hide assets now that the affair is public. We'll get a temporary order giving you full control of finances and the house. Then we move forward with discovery, depositions, the whole process. How long will it take? In California? 6 months minimum, probably closer to a year. But we can make Sarah's life hell in the meantime. I'll subpoena her employment records, bank statements, communications with Marcus. I'll depose Marcus and his wife. I'll make sure every detail of this affair becomes part of the public record. Do it, I say. One more thing, Angela adds. Emma's funeral is tomorrow? Yes, 2 p.m. Sarah's planning to attend? She says so. Good. I want you to record it. I pause. Record the funeral? Audio at least. If Sarah tries to play the grieving mother, if she makes a scene or says anything that contradicts her relieved comment, we want that on record. It'll be useful for character testimony. That feels. I struggle for the word. Wrong. Recording my daughter's funeral. I understand, Angela says gentler now. But you're in a war now, Mr. Chun. Sarah chose the battlefield when she decided to fuck her boss instead of saying goodbye to Emma. Now you need to fight smart. That means documenting everything. I think about Emma. About what she'd want. Would she want me recording her funeral, using her death as ammunition in a divorce? But then I think about Sarah's voice on that video. I'm relieved. Finally, I can stop being Emma's mother. I'll record it, I tell Angela. The rest of Friday passes in a blur of phone calls and preparations. My parents come over to help clean the house for tomorrow's reception. James stops by with groceries and beer, sits with me for an hour without saying much. My mother makes more casserole. At 3 p.m., my phone rings. Unknown number. Mr. Chun, this is Linda Reed. I sit up straighter. Marcus's wife. Mrs. Reed. Please, call me Linda. Her voice is steady, controlled. I wanted to reach out before the funeral tomorrow. I know this is terrible timing, but I thought you should know. I filed for divorce this morning. I'm taking Marcus for everything he's worth. Good. Linda laughs, short and bitter. I've known about the affairs, yes, plural, for years. But I stayed because of the kids, because of appearances, because I was stupid. Your email was the wake-up call I needed. So thank you. I didn't do it for you. I know. You did it for yourself and for Emma. But it helped me too. Linda pauses. I'm coming to the funeral tomorrow. I hope that's not inappropriate, but I wanted to pay my respects. Emma deserved better than what she got from the adults in her life. You didn't even know her. I say, not unkindly. No, but I know what it's like to be collateral damage in someone else's selfishness. So I'm coming, if that's all right with you. It's fine. Thank you. And Mr. Chin, if you need anything for your divorce, testimony, financial records, anything, I'm here. Marcus has kept meticulous records of everything, including his relationship with Sarah. I have access to all of it now. My mind starts working. What kind of records? Emails, texts, calendar entries labeled as client meetings that I can prove never happened. Expense reports showing dinners and hotels charged to the company when Sarah was supposedly traveling for work but was actually with him. Linda's voice hardens. Marcus is an arrogant bastard, but he's a thorough, arrogant bastard. He documented everything because he never thought he'd get caught. Linda, I say slowly, would you be willing to share those records with me? Already have. Check your email. I sent everything an hour ago. I opened my laptop. Sure enough, there's an email from Linda Reed with 12 attachments. I opened the first one, a spreadsheet detailing Marcus's schedule over the past year, with notes in a separate column. Multiple entries are highlighted in red with Linda's annotations. Claimed client dinner. Verified no client meeting scheduled. Saracen also absent from office that evening. I trail off, scanning the documents. This is incredibly thorough. Like I said, Marcus is meticulous. It's going to destroy him in divorce court, and I'm guessing it'll help you with Sarah too. It will. Thank you. Don't thank me. We're both victims of the same selfish assholes. Linda pauses. I'll see you tomorrow, Mr. Chun. I'm sorry it had to be under these circumstances. She hangs up. I spend the next hour reviewing Linda's files. She wasn't kidding. Marcus documented everything. There are text exchanges between him and Sarah that are sexually explicit. Calendar entries showing they were both working from home on the same days. Credit card statements showing charges for jewelry that Linda confirms she never received, meaning Marcus bought it for Sarah. And there, buried in a folder labeled personal, I find something that makes my blood run cold. It's a Word document titled exitstrategy.doc, dated 3 months ago. I open it. It's a plan. A literal, written plan for how Marcus and Sarah were going to leave their respective spouses and start a life together. It includes timelines, financial calculations, talking points for how to tell their families. There's a section titled Regarding Emma that makes me want to throw my laptop across the room. Sarah is understandably concerned about how Emma's condition will impact our timeline. If E's health continues to decline rapidly, Sarah believes we may be able to move forward sooner than anticipated, as David will be too grief-stricken to fight the divorce. This would be ideal timing to minimize financial complications and custody disputes. They were waiting for Emma to die, not hoping maybe, not actively wishing for it, but waiting, planning around it, treating my daughter's death like a convenient scheduling opportunity. I forward the document to Angela with a single line. They planned this. They were waiting for Emma to die, so the divorce would be easier. Angela responds in 30 seconds. Holy shit. This is gold, David. Gold. Sarah's lawyer is going to choke on this. I close my laptop and sit in Emma's room, holding Buttons the rabbit, staring at nothing. Tomorrow, I'll bury my daughter, and then I'll destroy the woman who was supposed to love her. Saturday morning arrives gray and cold, the kind of November day that feels like the world is grieving with you. I dress in the black suit I wore to my father's retirement party 2 years ago, the last time I had occasion to wear it. The face looking back at me in the mirror is gaunt, hollow-eyed, a decade older than it was a week ago. I look like a man who's been gutted and left standing. I suppose that's accurate. My parents arrive at 11 a.m. to drive me to the funeral home. My mother fusses over my tie. My father grips my shoulders silently. We don't talk during the drive. What is there to say? The funeral home's small chapel is already filling up when we arrive at 1:30 p.m. I see faces I recognize, James and his wife, colleagues from work, Emma's pediatrician, Dr. Williams, who treated her from birth, teachers from the special needs preschool Emma attended during her good years. My sister flew in from Portland overnight, her eyes red and swollen. And then I see Sarah. She's sitting in the back row, alone. She's wearing black, a dress I don't recognize, expensive looking, and oversized sunglasses that hide most of her face. Her mother, Carol, sits 2 rows ahead, pointedly not looking at her. Sarah's brother Tom is on the opposite side of the chapel. No one is sitting near Sarah. She's isolated, quarantined by her own family. Good. I take my seat in the front row between my parents. The service begins at 2 p.m. exactly. I've chosen not to have a religious ceremony. Neither Sarah nor I were particularly religious, and it felt hypocritical to suddenly invoke God in Emma's death when we'd never bothered with church during her life. Instead, I hired a secular celebrant, a woman named Monica who specializes in humanist services. Monica speaks beautifully about Emma's life. She talks about Emma's love of stories, her kindness to her stuffed animals, the way she'd share her snacks with other kids even when eating was painful for her. She reads a letter I wrote about Emma's bravery, her resilience, the way she faced each hospitalization and treatment with more courage than most adults could muster. I don't cry. I'm too empty for tears now. I sit perfectly still, my hands folded in my lap, and I listen to Monica describe my daughter like she's someone I used to know a long time ago. The hardest part is the photos. I put together a slideshow earlier this week. Emma as a newborn, Emma's first birthday, Emma at the beach, Emma laughing, Emma sleeping, Emma just being Emma. Each photo appears on the screen at the front of the chapel, while instrumental versions of Disney songs play. Behind me, I hear someone crying. I glance back, and through the crowd, I see Sarah. Her sunglasses are off now. Her face is crumpled, tears streaming. Her mother has moved to sit beside her, arm around her shoulders. Part of me wants to feel satisfaction at Sarah's pain, but mostly, I just feel tired. After the slideshow, Monica invites people to share memories. Dr. Williams stands up, talks about Emma's infectious smile during checkups. Emma's preschool teacher tells a story about how Emma organized a hospital for stuffed animals and spent an entire day giving them all checkups and band-aids. James stands, his voice breaking, and says simply, "Emma was the best kid I ever met." "David, I'm so sorry." No one asks Sarah to speak. The service ends at 3:15 p.m. People file out slowly, stopping to offer condolences. I shake hands, accept hugs, nod at the appropriate times. I'm functioning on autopilot now, my mind distant from my body. Sarah approaches me in the lobby. Her mother is hovering nearby, protective. "David," Sarah says, her voice raspy. Don't. I interrupt. "Please. I need to tell you. There's nothing you can tell me that I want to hear." I keep my voice low, aware of people watching. "You missed our daughter's death. You told another man you were relieved. You were planning to leave me as soon as Emma died to make the divorce easier." "I know everything, Sarah. I have the documents. I have Marcus's exit strategy file." Sarah's face goes white. "What?" "Linda Reed sent me everything. Marcus documented your entire affair, including the part where you two were waiting for Emma to die." I step closer, and Sarah flinches. "Did you think I wouldn't find out? Did you think you were clever?" "David, please. You don't get to play the victim." I continue. "You don't get to cry at Emma's funeral and pretend you're devastated. You're relieved, remember? You said so yourself. Finally, you can stop being her mother. Well, congratulations, Sarah. You got your wish." "I didn't wish for this." Sarah's voice cracks. "I never wanted Emma to die. Maybe not actively, but you were waiting for it, planning around it, treating her death like a scheduling convenience." I straighten my tie, my movements calm and deliberate. "My lawyer is filing divorce papers on Monday. You'll be served at work, probably around noon. I'd suggest having a box ready for your desk, because I'm guessing Redfield is going to fire you the same day." "You're destroying my life," Sarah whispers. "No," I correct her. "You destroyed your life when you chose Marcus over Emma. I'm just making sure everyone knows about it." Sarah's mother puts a hand on her arm. "David, please. I know you're angry, and you have every right to be. But Sarah is still Emma's mother. She's still grieving." "Mrs. Morrison," I say, turning to Carol. "Did you listen to the video I sent?" Carol's face tightens. "I did." "Then you heard Sarah say she was relieved Emma was dying. You heard her plan her new life with Marcus. You heard everything." I look between Carol and Sarah. "So don't ask me to be understanding. Don't ask me to forgive her. Sarah made choices. Now she gets to live with them." I walk away before either of them can respond. The reception at my parents' house is small and subdued. Maybe 20 people, mostly family. James makes sure I'm eating. My sister handles the logistics of coffee and plates. I sit in my father's armchair and accept condolences like they're a job I'm being paid to do. Linda Reed shows up around 4 p.m. I didn't expect her to come to the reception, but she hands me a sympathy card and a bottle of expensive whiskey. "For later," she says. "When you're ready to feel things again. Thank you for coming. And for the files. Have they been useful?" "Devastating," I confirm. "My lawyer thinks we can have Sarah declared at fault for the divorce, which means limited spousal support and a favorable asset split." "Good." Linda glances around the room. "Is Sarah here?" "No. She's not welcome." Linda nods approvingly. "Marcus asked if he could come to the funeral. I told him if he showed up, I'd cause a scene that would end his career permanently. He stayed home. Probably wise. He's going to fight the divorce," Linda adds. He's already hired a shark of a lawyer. But I have the receipts, literally. Every hotel charge, every dinner, every gift he bought Sarah with our money. He's going to lose. So is Sarah. Linda studies me. You're very calm. I'm very empty. I correct her. There's a difference. She touches my arm briefly, then melts back into the crowd. By 7 p.m., everyone is left except my parents and James. My mother insists on cleaning up. My father and James drink beer in the backyard, talking quietly. I sit at the kitchen table and review the recording I made of the funeral on my phone. Angela was right. We needed this. Sarah's tears look performative in retrospect, especially knowing what I know about her plans with Marcus. The way she kept checking her phone during the service. The way she left immediately after speaking to me, not staying for the reception. It all looks bad. It will all play well in divorce court. I send the audio file to Angela with a note from today's service. Sarah crying, but checking phone throughout. Left immediately after, didn't stay for reception. Use as needed. Angela responds, "You're a natural. We're going to eviscerate her. I should feel triumphant. Victorious. Instead, I just feel tired." On Monday morning, Sarah gets served with divorce papers at her office. I know this because Angela calls me at 12:47 p.m., barely containing her glee. The process server just reported back. He served her at her desk. Apparently, she went white and asked if she could speak to her manager. He told her no, you can't refuse service. She started crying in front of her whole team. Good, I say automatically. David, Angela's voice turns serious. I need to prepare you for what comes next. Sarah's going to fight this. She's going to hire a lawyer, probably already has one. And they're going to try to paint you as unstable, as someone who's lashing out in grief. They'll argue you're not thinking clearly, that the evidence was obtained illegally, that Sarah was just coping badly, and you're being vindictive. Let them try. I have documentation for everything. I know you do. But court cases aren't always about facts. They're about narratives. Sarah's narrative is going to be grieving mother pushed to breaking point by controlling husband. Our narrative is devoted father betrayed by unfaithful wife who abandoned dying child. We need to make sure our story is more compelling. What do you need from me? Everything you have. Every text, every GPS log, every credit card statement. Every witness who can testify to your devotion to Emma and Sarah's absence. Dr. Reyes, nurses from the ICU, Emma's teachers. I want a list by end of day. You'll have it. And David, don't engage with Sarah. Don't answer her calls. Don't respond to her texts. Everything from now on goes through lawyers. Understood. Understood. I hang up and get to work. By 3 p.m., I've compiled a list of 24 potential witnesses. By 5 p.m., I've organized all my evidence into a shared drive folder for Angela. By 7 p.m., I'm sitting in my empty house, staring at Emma's room, wondering how my life became a legal case study in betrayal. My phone buzzes constantly throughout the evening. Sarah tries to call 11 times. I don't answer. She sends texts. David, please. We need to talk about this. You can't just divorce me without giving me a chance to explain. I know you're angry, but this is insane. Please. I'm begging you. Let's go to counseling. We can work through this. I never meant for any of this to happen. Emma wouldn't want us to end like this. That last text nearly breaks my resolve. Emma wouldn't want this. She'd want her parents together, happy, functional. She was always trying to make peace between us during the rare times we fought in front of her. Don't be mad at Mommy, Daddy, she'd say. Or don't be sad, Mommy. Daddy's just tired. But Emma's gone. And Sarah forfeited her right to invoke Emma's wishes when she chose not to say goodbye. I blocked Sarah's number. At 9 p.m., my phone rings with a call from Redfield Dynamics. It's Veronica Marshall from HR. Mr. Chun, I wanted to inform you personally. We've completed our investigation into the matter you brought to our attention. Based on the evidence provided, both Sarah Chun and Marcus Reed have been terminated, effective immediately. I sit up. Both of them. Both. Mr. Reed violated multiple company policies regarding workplace relationships and misuse of company resources. Mrs. Chun was complicit in those violations. Additionally, the personal conduct demonstrated in the video you provided, regardless of context, reflects poorly on the company. We've decided to part ways with both employees. What about Marcus's position on the board? Mr. Reed has agreed to resign from all board positions and will forfeit his remaining stock options as part of his severance agreement. We're also conducting an audit of his expense reports, as we've found evidence of additional improprieties. Linda's records. They must have provided those too. Thank you for letting me know, I say. Mr. Chun, Veronica continues, I want you to know that what you did, bringing this to our attention, was important. Not just for your personal situation, but for the integrity of our workplace. Marcus Reed was a powerful man who believed he was untouchable. You proved otherwise. I wasn't trying to be a hero. I know. But sometimes the right thing and the vengeful thing are the same thing. Veronica pauses. I'm sorry about your daughter. Truly. Thank you. She hangs up. I sit in the silence of my house and try to process what I've done. In the span of 5 days, I've buried my daughter, exposed my wife's affair, gotten Sarah and Marcus both fired, filed for divorce, become a viral news story. I should feel victorious, powerful. Instead, I feel hollowed out. Like I've spent so much energy on revenge that there's nothing left for grief. My phone buzzes again. Not Sarah. Her number is blocked. This is an email from Angela. Subject, emergency motion granted. David, the court granted our emergency motion. You have full control of marital assets and the house pending the divorce hearing. Sarah is not allowed on the property without your permission. She has 72 hours to collect her remaining personal belongings with a sheriff's escort. Congratulations. You're winning. I stare at the word, winning. This is what winning feels like. Sitting alone in my dead daughter's house, surrounded by evidence of my failed marriage, having systematically destroyed the woman I spent 13 years loving, I get up and walk to Emma's room. Her stuffed animals are still arranged on her bed the way she liked them. Her books are still on the shelf. Her purple walls still have the glow-in-the-dark stars. I sit on her bed, and I finally let myself feel it. Not the cold, controlled anger that's been driving me for 5 days. The grief. Raw, devastating, world-ending grief. I cry for Emma. For the future she'll never have. For her 8th birthday next month. For the fact that she died without her mother. For the thousands of small moments I'll never have. Teaching her to ride a bike. Helping with homework. Walking her down the aisle someday. I cry for my marriage. For the woman Sarah used to be, before the resentment and exhaustion and affairs. For the way we used to laugh together. For the moment in the hospital when Emma was born and Sarah looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, we made her. We made this perfect little person. And I cry for myself. For the man I was before Emma got sick. For the relationship I thought I had. For the naive belief that love and devotion were enough to keep a family together. I cry until I can't breathe, until my throat is raw, until I'm lying on Emma's bed surrounded by stuffed animals and the faint smell of her strawberry shampoo. And when I'm finally empty, when there are no tears left, I make a decision. I'm not done yet. The viral nature of my email means that Sarah and Marcus's story has taken on a life of its own. By Tuesday morning, the Emma Chin story is trending on 3 different social media platforms. News outlets are picking it up. First local news, then regional, then national. I start getting calls from journalists wanting interviews. I decline all of them at first, but Angela has a different idea. You should do an interview, she says during our Wednesday strategy meeting. Control the narrative. Right now, people are sympathetic to you, but Sarah's lawyer is going to try to flip that. They'll paint her as a victim of your public shaming. You need to get ahead of it. I don't want to be on TV. Then do print. Or a podcast. Something where you can tell your story in your own words. Angela leans forward. David, you have moral authority here. You're the grieving father who was betrayed at his most vulnerable moment. People connect with that. Use it. I think about this. About Emma. About whether she'd want me dragging our family drama through the media. But then I remember Sarah's voice. Finally, I can stop being Emma's mother. Find me a reputable outlet, I tell Angela. Someone who'll fact-check and let me speak without editing me into sound bites. Angela makes calls. By Thursday, I have an interview scheduled with NPR's All Things Considered. The reporter, a woman named Catherine Morrison, meets me at a coffee shop downtown. She's in her 50s, professional but warm. She orders a latte and gets straight to business. Mr. Chun, thank you for agreeing to speak with me. I want to be upfront. This story has generated enormous public interest, and there are a lot of strong opinions on both sides. Some people see you as a hero, others as vindictive. How do you see yourself? Neither, I say. I see myself as a father who lost his daughter and discovered his wife had been waiting for that loss so she could start her new life. Everything I did after that was just documentation. I documented what happened. I shared the truth with people who deserved to know it. The public response wasn't something I planned or controlled. But you must have known that sending that email to dozens of people, including your wife's employer, would have consequences. Of course I knew. I wanted consequences. I wanted Sarah and Marcus to face reality. That actions have results. That betrayal has costs. Catherine makes notes. Some have characterized your response as cruel. Public shaming, they call it. Revenge porn without the porn. What's your response to that? I didn't share anything private or intimate. I shared security camera footage of a conversation that happened in an office, a semi-public space, between two people conducting an affair during work hours. If anything, I exposed a workplace ethics violation that their employer had a right to know about. Fair point, Catherine concedes. Let's talk about Emma. Tell me about your daughter. This is harder. I take a moment, sipping my coffee, gathering my thoughts. Emma was 7 years old. She was diagnosed with a degenerative neurological condition when she was 6 months old. The doctors told us she'd probably die before her 3rd birthday. She made it to 7 through sheer stubbornness and about 50 different experimental treatments. I smile slightly, remembering. She loved stories. We'd read to her for hours, fairy tales, chapter books, anything. She couldn't always respond, especially toward the end, but she'd hold your hand if she liked the story. That was how you knew. It sounds like you were very devoted. She was my daughter. What else would I be? And your wife? Sarah, I choose my words carefully. Sarah struggled with Emma's illness. That's understandable. It's incredibly difficult having a sick child. The constant worry, the endless medical appointments, the grief. We processed it differently. I coped by being present, by fighting for every extra day. Sarah coped by distancing herself, emotionally at first, then physically. When did you first suspect the affair? About 6 months ago. Sarah started working late, traveling more for work. We grew apart. I thought it was the stress of Emma's illness. I didn't realize Sarah was actively planning her exit. You've mentioned exit plans. Can you elaborate? I pull out my laptop and show Catherine the exit strategy document Linda sent me. She reads it, her expression darkening. This is remarkably callous, she says finally. That's one word for it. They were waiting for Emma to die, so the divorce would be cleaner. Less emotional resistance from me, fewer complications about custody or assets. My daughter's death was a scheduling convenience. Catherine looks at me. How did that feel reading this? Like being gutted, I say flatly. Like discovering that while I was holding my dying daughter's hand, counting every breath, my wife was planning her escape. And that's why you went public. That's why I shared the truth. Whether that's going public or revenge or justice is semantics. I gave people information. They chose what to do with it. Catherine asks more questions about the divorce, about whether I regret my actions, about what I want people to take away from this story. I answer honestly, without dramatics, letting the facts speak for themselves. The interview airs Friday evening. By Saturday morning, it's been transcribed and shared across social media. The response is overwhelming. Most people are sympathetic. This man's calmness is heartbreaking. You can tell he's just shattered. The exit strategy document is proof this wasn't just an affair. They were predatory. Sarah Chun should never be able to show her face in public again. But there are critics. He's using his daughter's death as a weapon. That's gross. Public shaming is never okay, regardless of what someone did privately. This man is clearly unstable and lashing out. Both people are victims of grief. Angela calls Saturday afternoon. The interview was perfect. Exactly what we needed. You came across as reasonable, measured, justified. Sarah's lawyer is going to have a hell of a time painting you as vindictive now. Good. There's something else, Angela continues. Marcus Reed's lawyer reached out. He wants to settle. I sit up. Settle what? I'm not suing Marcus. No, but Linda is. And Marcus's lawyer thinks if you testify in Linda's divorce proceedings, it'll destroy Marcus's position. So he's proposing a deal. Marcus makes a public apology and pays you $50,000 in emotional damages if you agree not to testify. Fuck that. I say immediately. I'm testifying. Linda deserves to win her case. That's what I told him you'd say, Angela replies, sounding pleased. But I wanted you to hear the offer. Is there an offer from Sarah's lawyer? Not yet, but there will be. Sarah's in a bad position, unemployed, living with her parents, publicly vilified. She can't afford a long court battle. Eventually, she'll have to settle. What kind of settlement are we looking at? You keep the house, the life insurance money, and all marital assets. Sarah gets nothing except her personal belongings and maybe, enough money to get her own apartment. No spousal support, no ongoing contact required. Clean break. That's what I want. We'll get it, Angela promises. Just stay the course. Don't do anything stupid like responding to Sarah's attempts at contact. I blocked her number. Good. Keep it that way. We hang up. I spend the rest of Saturday reading through social media responses to the interview, morbidly fascinated by the way strangers have latched onto my story. Some have made me a hero. Others have made me a villain. Most have made Emma a symbol of innocence, of victimhood, of the collateral damage of adult selfishness. I don't know what Emma would think of all this, whether she'd be proud or horrified, whether she'd understand why I did what I did. I wish I could ask her. 3 weeks later, I'm sitting in a deposition room with Angela, facing Sarah's lawyer. His name is Mitchell Gray, and he's exactly what I expected. Expensive suit, practiced sympathy, the kind of lawyer who specializes in making bad people look sympathetic. He's been hired to rehabilitate Sarah's image and minimize her financial losses. Good luck with that. Mr. Chun, Mitchell begins, his voice smooth. I want to start by offering my condolences for your loss. Losing a child is unimaginable. Thank you, I say flatly. Now, I need to ask you some difficult questions about the events of November 7th, the day Emma passed. I know this is painful, but it's necessary for us to understand the full context of your subsequent actions. I understand. When did you first attempt to contact Sarah that day? 8:04 a.m. I called to tell her Emma had crashed overnight and that the doctors were recommending withdrawal of life support. And what was Sarah's response? She said, "Oh my God, David, and I'm leaving right now? I'll be there in 20 minutes. But she didn't arrive. No. And you called her? How many times over the next several hours? 32 times. I also texted 47 times and had the hospital call her office 4 times. Mitchell makes notes. That's a significant number of attempts. Would you characterize your state of mind during this period as stable? Angela intervenes. Objection. Irrelevant and inflammatory. I'll rephrase. Mitchell says smoothly. Mr. Chun, you were under enormous stress. Your daughter was dying. You were being asked to make an impossible decision. Is it fair to say you weren't thinking clearly? I was thinking very clearly, I reply. I knew exactly what was happening. Emma was brain dead. The machines were keeping her body alive, but she was already gone. I needed Sarah there not because I couldn't make the decision alone, but because Emma deserved to have both parents present when she died. But Sarah wasn't present. No, she was with Marcus Reed. Allegedly, Mitchell interjects. You've presented video evidence that shows Sarah and Marcus in what appears to be an intimate moment, but you've also admitted that you accessed this footage without authorization. Sarah showed me the security system. I interrupt. She gave me the login credentials. She demonstrated how to access the cameras. I simply used what she provided. 3 months later, when you were in an emotionally compromised state. I was emotionally compromised because my daughter was dying and my wife wouldn't answer the phone. Mitchell switches tactics. Let's talk about the email you sent on November 7th. You sent it to, he checks his notes, 47 different recipients, including Sarah's employer, her family, your family, and friends. That's not a private communication, Mr. Chun. That's a public attack. It's information sharing, I correct. I sent factual documentation to people who had a right to know what happened. Sarah's employer had a right to know she was conducting an affair with a superior during work hours. Sarah's family had a right to know why Emma's mother wasn't present at her death. My family had a right to know why our marriage was ending. You shared intimate, private moments. I shared security camera footage from an office. There's nothing intimate or private about an office. It's a workplace. You shared details of Sarah's personal life, her mental state, her private conversations. I shared her own words. I say, my voice rising slightly. Words she spoke while my daughter was dying. Words about being relieved Emma was finally dying so she could start her new life with Marcus. Those were Sarah's choices, Mitchell. Her words. Her actions. All I did was document them. Angela looks pleased. Mitchell looks frustrated. Mr. Chun, Mitchell continues, you've painted Sarah as a monster. But isn't it possible she was simply overwhelmed? That she coped with Emma's illness differently than you did? That the pressure of having a terminally ill child for 7 years simply broke her? I leaned forward. If Sarah was overwhelmed, there were options. Therapy, support groups, asking for help, having an affair with your married boss, and planning your exit strategy around your daughter's death is not coping. It's betrayal. But surely you can understand. I understand perfectly, I interrupt. Sarah stopped loving Emma. Maybe she never loved her the way she should have. And instead of being honest about that, instead of getting help or stepping back or doing any of the things a reasonable person would do, she started fucking Marcus and waiting for Emma to die. That's not overwhelm, Mitchell. That's sociopathy. Mitchell's eyes narrow. That's a very strong word, Mr. Chun. It's an accurate word. We go back and forth for another 40 minutes. Mitchell tries every angle, suggesting I'm mentally unstable, implying my evidence is tainted, arguing that public shaming is abuse regardless of the reason. Angela counters each attempt with documentation, witness testimony, and my own calm, consistent narrative. By the end, Mitchell looks exhausted. One final question, Mr. Chun. Do you hate your wife? I consider this. Honestly. No. I say finally. I don't hate Sarah. I pity her. She threw away 13 years of marriage, her relationship with her daughter, her career, and her reputation for a man who documented their affair like a business transaction. Marcus kept spreadsheets, Mitchell. He had an exit strategy that read like a corporate restructuring plan. Sarah thought she was having a great romance. She was actually just another one of Marcus's projects. That's not. And now she's unemployed, living with her parents, and universally despised because people heard her say she was relieved her daughter was dying. I didn't do that to her. She did that to herself. All I did was hold up a mirror. Mitchell closes his notebook. I think we're done here. For today, Angela adds. We'll reconvene next week for Sarah's deposition. We leave the deposition room. In the hallway, Angela grins at me. You were perfect. Calm, clear, consistent. Mitchell's going to tell Sarah to settle. When? I'm guessing within a week. Sarah can't afford to keep fighting, and every day that passes makes her look worse. The NPR interview is still circulating. Linda Reed's divorce just went public with details about Marcus's financial improprieties. The longer this drags out, the more damage Sarah takes. Good. Angela studies me. How are you holding up? I'm fine. David, you're not fine. You just buried your daughter 3 weeks ago, and you're in the middle of a brutal divorce. You're allowed to not be fine. What else is there? I ask. I can't bring Emma back. I can't undo Sarah's betrayal. All I can do is make sure the truth is known and that Sarah pays for what she did. So that's what I'm doing. And when it's over, when the divorce is final and Sarah's gone and you're alone in that house, what then? I don't have an answer. Sarah's lawyer calls Angela 8 days later with a settlement offer. Angela relays it to me over the phone. Sarah will relinquish all claims to the house, marital assets, and Emma's life insurance. You give her $20,000 as a one-time payment to help her get settled, basically moving expenses, and you agree not to pursue any further legal action or public statements about her. Clean break. No ongoing contact required. What about the evidence? The videos, the GPS logs, everything. You keep it for your records, but agree not to share it publicly without cause. Basically, if Sarah behaves herself, the evidence stays private. If she comes after you later, you can use it. And spousal support? None. She's waiving her right to alimony. I think about this. $20,000 feels like nothing compared to what Sarah cost me. My marriage, my daughter's last moments, my peace of mind. But it's also more than she deserves. Counteroffer, I say. I'll give her $15,000, and she has to sign an affidavit admitting to the affair and her absence during Emma's death. I want it in writing, legally binding. So if she ever tries to rewrite history or play the victim, I have documentation. David, Angela says carefully, that's punitive. It doesn't serve a legal purpose. It serves my purpose, I interrupt. Sarah lied to me for 6 months. She lied to her family. She's still lying to anyone who'll listen about what really happened that day. I want the truth in writing, signed and notarized. That's my condition. Angela sighs. I'll present it to Mitchell, but I'm guessing Sarah won't agree to it. Then we go to trial. I'm fine with that. But 3 days later, Sarah agrees. Angela calls with the news. She signed it. All of it. The affidavit, the settlement terms, everything. We're filing with the court tomorrow. The divorce should be final within 30 days. Did Mitchell say why she agreed? He said Sarah just wants it to be over. She's exhausted, David. Unemployed, blacklisted in her industry, living in her childhood bedroom. The affidavit is humiliating, but it's also an end point. She gets to move on. You get your documentation, everyone walks away. She doesn't get to move on. I say, that's the point. She doesn't get to rebuild her life and pretend Emma never existed. David. I'm not trying to torture her forever, Angela. I'm just making sure the truth stays the truth. Sarah doesn't get to become sympathetic in 10 years when people forget the details. The affidavit ensures that. I understand, Angela says quietly. For what it's worth, I think you're handling this as well as anyone could. I don't feel like I'm handling anything. I feel like I'm just existing. That's normal. You're grieving. It takes time. Time. Everyone keeps talking about time, like it's a resource I can spend to make things better. But time just means more days without Emma. More nights alone in a house full of her things. More mornings waking up and remembering all over again that she's gone. When do I get the affidavit? I ask. It's being filed with the court as part of the settlement. I'll send you a copy once it's official. Thank you. David, Angela says, her voice gentler now. You did it. You got justice for Emma. You held Sarah accountable. You won. You're allowed to feel something about that. But I don't feel anything. Just emptiness. The divorce is finalized on December 18th, exactly 41 days after Emma died. I'm not required to appear in court. It's a paperwork proceeding at this point, both sides having agreed to the settlement. I receive an email from Angela around 2 p.m. It's done. You're officially divorced. I'm sitting in my office at work when I read it. I've been back for 2 weeks now, trying to rebuild some semblance of normalcy. My colleagues treat me carefully, like I'm made of glass. They don't mention Emma or Sarah. They just assign me projects and let me work. I finish reading Angela's email and close my laptop. I'm divorced. My daughter is dead. My wife of 13 years is gone. I'm alone. I sit at my desk for a long time, staring at nothing, trying to feel something. Nothing comes. At 5 p.m., I drive home. The house is exactly as I left it this morning. Clean, organized, empty. Emma's room is still untouched. A museum to a life that ended too soon. Sarah's things are gone, collected during her supervised visit 2 weeks ago. There's no trace of her left except the ghost of 13 years together. I make dinner. I eat it standing at the kitchen counter. I clean the dishes. I watch TV without seeing it. At 10 p.m., my phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. I know you'll never forgive me. I don't forgive myself either. But I need you to know that I loved Emma. I loved her so much it broke me. I'm sorry I couldn't be what you both needed. I'm sorry for everything. Sarah. I read the message 3 times. Part of me wants to respond. Wants to tell her that love isn't enough if you don't show up. That loving Emma so much it broke you doesn't excuse not being there when she died. That sorry means nothing when it. January arrives with snow and bitter cold. I spend the first week of the new year organizing Emma's things. It's time, my mother says. Time to start moving forward. Time to stop living in a museum. But what does moving forward look like? I start small. Emma's clothes. I pack them into boxes for donation. The hospital might want them for other sick kids. Emma would like that. She always wanted to help other kids, even when she was barely strong enough to help herself. Her toys are harder. Each one has a memory attached. The stuffed rabbit, Buttons, who went to every hospital stay. The coloring books we worked on together during chemo. The plastic tea set she used to serve imaginary tea to her stuffed animals, narrating elaborate tea parties in a serious voice that made me laugh even on the worst days. I packed them away carefully, labeling each box with dates and descriptions. Maybe someday I'll be able to look at them without feeling like I'm drowning. Today is not that day. Emma's room itself I leave intact for now. I close the door and pretend it doesn't exist. At work, I'm promoted. It's a small promotion, senior data analyst to lead analyst, but it comes with a raise and more responsibility. my boss, Karen, calls me into her office to tell me, David, you've been with us for 15 years. Your work has always been exemplary, but these past few months especially, you've shown real resilience. The promotion is effective immediately. Thank you, I say automatically. Karen hesitates. How are you doing? Really? I'm fine. David, you don't have to be fine. What you went through, what you're still going through, it's unimaginable. If you need time, or if you need to reduce your hours, or if you need anything at all, just say the word. I need to work, I tell her honestly. Work is the only thing that makes sense right now. Everything else is just noise. Karen looks like she wants to argue, but doesn't. Okay. But the offer stands. Anything you need. I throw myself into work with a focus that borders on obsession. I arrive early, stay late, volunteer for extra projects. My colleagues whisper that I'm working myself to death, but they don't understand. Work is simple. Work has rules. Data doesn't lie. Numbers don't betray you. Spreadsheets don't abandon you when things get hard. Work is safe. At home, I'm less functional. I eat because I have to. I sleep because my body forces me to. I exist because stopping doesn't seem like an option, even though some nights I think about it. I think about Emma, about Sarah, about the life I thought I was building and how completely it disintegrated. I think about the video that started everything, about Sarah's voice saying she was relieved, about Marcus's hand on her waist, about the exit strategy document that treated Emma's death like a business opportunity. And I think about what I did in response, the email, the evidence, the systematic destruction of Sarah's life. Was I right? Was I wrong? I don't know anymore. In February, Linda Reed reaches out. We meet for coffee downtown. She looks different from the funeral, stronger, more confident. She's cut her hair short, and there's a lightness to her that wasn't there before. My divorce was finalized last week, she tells me. I got the house, 70% of assets, and full custody of the kids. Marcus is living in a studio apartment downtown and working as a consultant. His reputation is destroyed. No major firm will touch him. Good, I say, and I mean it. I couldn't have done it without the evidence you provided, Linda continues. The exit strategy document especially. It showed premeditation, financial planning, complete disregard for his family. The judge threw the book at him. I'm glad it helped. Linda studies me over her latte. How are you doing? And don't say fine. I know what fine looks like, and you're not it. I laugh, short and bitter. I don't know what I am. Empty, mostly. I won my divorce. I got justice for Emma. Sarah's paying for what she did. But it doesn't feel like winning. It just feels like existence. Grief doesn't have a timeline, Linda says gently. And neither does anger. You're allowed to feel both. I don't feel angry anymore. I just feel tired. That's still grief, David. Just a different stage of it. We talk for an hour. Linda tells me about her kids, about rebuilding her life post-Marcus, about the therapy she started. She gives me her therapist's number, suggests I might benefit from talking to someone. I don't need therapy, I say. I need Emma back. Therapy can't give me that. No, Linda agrees. But it might help you figure out how to live in a world where she's gone. I take the number, but don't call it. In March, the viral nature of my story finally starts to fade. There are new scandals, new tragedies, new stories for people to latch onto. Hashtag Justice for Emma stops trending. The Reddit threads about Sarah and Marcus move to archived status. The NPR interview becomes old news. I'm grateful for the anonymity returning, but also disturbed by how quickly people forget. 3 months ago, the world was outraged on Emma's behalf. Now she's just another sad story that happened to someone else. But I don't forget. Every morning, I wake up and remember Emma is gone. Every night, I go to bed in a house that feels too big and too empty. Every moment in between, I carry the weight of what happened. One Saturday in early April, I finally call the therapist Linda recommended. Her name is Dr. Patricia Okafor, and she can see me on Tuesday afternoons. I book an appointment before I can talk myself out of it. The first session is awkward. Dr. Okafor is in her 40s, warm but direct. She asked me to tell her why I'm there. My daughter died 6 months ago. My wife was cheating on me and missed Emma's death. I exposed the affair and destroyed my wife's life. Now I'm divorced and alone, and I don't know what to do with myself. Dr. Okafor makes notes. That's a lot of trauma to process. Let's start with Emma. Tell me about her. And for the first time since Emma died, I really talk about her. Not the clinical details of her illness or the logistics of her death, but her. Emma the person. Emma who loved purple and stories and stuffed animals. Emma who was stubborn and brave and funny even when she was in pain. Emma who deserved so much better than what life gave her. I cry in Dr. Okafor's office. Not the wrenching sobs from Emma's room the night she died, but quiet, steady tears that feel like release. You loved her very much, Dr. Okafor observes. She was everything. And when she died, you lost everything. Yes. And then you discovered your wife's betrayal, which meant you'd already lost everything even before Emma died. You just didn't know it yet. I nod, unable to speak. David, Dr. Okafor says gently, what you did in response to that loss. Exposing Sarah, documenting the evidence, pursuing the divorce. That was your way of trying to regain control in a situation where you had none. Emma's death was something you couldn't prevent or fix. But holding Sarah accountable? That was something you could do. It felt like justice, I say. It felt like making things right. And did it? Make things right. I think about this. About Sarah unemployed and exiled. About Marcus's ruined reputation. About the viral email and the NPR interview and the divorce settlement. No, I admit. It didn't make anything right. Emma's still dead. I'm still alone. Sarah's suffering doesn't undo what she did. Then why did you do it? Because I was angry. Because I needed Sarah to hurt the way I was hurting. Because if I couldn't have Emma, I could at least make sure Sarah paid for not being there when Emma needed her most. Dr. Okafor nods. That's honest. And it's understandable. But David, revenge, even justified revenge, doesn't heal grief. It just delays it. So what am I supposed to do? Forgive Sarah? Pretend it didn't happen? No. You're supposed to feel what you feel. Anger, grief, betrayal, all of it. But you're also supposed to eventually put down the weapon you've been carrying and figure out how to live again. I don't know how to do that. That's why you're here, Dr. Okafor says. We'll figure it out together. I continue therapy through April and May. Some sessions are productive. Others, I sit in silence for 45 minutes while Dr. Okafor waits patiently for me to talk. Slowly, incrementally, something shifts. I start sleeping better. Not great, but better. I start eating real meals instead of casserole leftovers. I join a grief support group for parents who've lost children, Dr. Okafor's suggestion. I'm the youngest person there by a decade, but the shared understanding helps. In June, on what would have been Emma's 8th birthday, I visit her grave for the first time since the funeral. I've been avoiding it. The cemetery feels too final, too real. But Dr. Okafor suggested it might help to have a place to talk to Emma, to process my feelings. Emma's grave is in a children's section of the cemetery, surrounded by other small headstones with dates that are too close together. Her marker is simple, Emma Rose Chun, July 15, 2017 to November 7, 2024. Beloved daughter, forever in our hearts. I sit on the grass next to the headstone and talk to my daughter. I tell her about work, about therapy, about how empty the house feels without her. I tell her about the swing set that's still rusting in the backyard, about her room that's still exactly as she left it, about Buttons the rabbit who sits on my bed now because I can't stand to pack him away. And I tell her about Sarah. I don't know if I did the right thing, Emma Bean. I say, using my old nickname for her. I was so angry. I wanted Mom to hurt like I was hurting. I wanted everyone to know what she did. And I got what I wanted. Mom lost everything. But it doesn't feel good. It just feels empty. The wind rustles through the trees. Birds sing. Life continues around Emma's grave, indifferent to my pain. I think maybe Dr. Okafor is right. I think I've been carrying anger like a weapon, and it's too heavy now. I'm tired, Emma. I'm so tired. I sit with her for an hour, saying nothing, just being present with her memory. When I finally stand to leave, I feel lighter. Not healed, not even close, but lighter. On the drive home, I make a decision. I spend that evening writing a letter. Not to Sarah, I'm not ready for that, may never be ready for that. But to myself. A letter about what happened, what I did, and what I need to do next. I exposed Sarah because I wanted justice. I wanted the world to know what she did. I wanted her to suffer consequences. And she has. She lost her job, her reputation, her marriage, her family's trust. She's been publicly vilified, professionally blacklisted, and personally destroyed. Was she right? Of course not. What Sarah did was unforgivable. She chose her affair over our dying daughter. She said she was relieved Emma was dying. She planned her exit around Emma's death like it was a business transaction. But was I right? I don't know anymore. Emma deserved better than what Sarah gave her. But did she deserve a father who spent his grief on revenge? Did she deserve to become a symbol in a viral story, her death used as justification for destroying someone's life? I can't take back what I did. The email is out there forever. The NPR interview is archived. Sarah's reputation is permanently damaged. Those are facts I have to live with. But I can choose what I do next. I can choose to put down the anger, to stop checking social media for updates about Sarah, to stop imagining her suffering, to stop using Emma's memory as a weapon. I can choose to remember Emma for who she was, not as a victim of Sarah's betrayal, but as a person who existed independent of it. A girl who loved stories and purple and stuffed animals. A girl who was brave and stubborn and kind. I can choose to grieve Emma instead of avenging her. That's what Dr. Okafor says healing looks like. Choosing forward motion instead of backward anger. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I don't send the letter anywhere. I just write it, print it, and tuck it into a folder labeled Emma, Processing. It's a start. In July, 1 year after Emma's last good summer, I finally start packing up her room. Not all of it, just some of it. The clothes go to the hospital's pediatric ward. The toys go to a children's charity. The books I keep. I can't part with the books yet. Maybe someday. I repaint the walls. Not purple anymore. That feels like too much, but a soft gray. Neutral. Peaceful. I take down the glow-in-the-dark stars. I pack away the stuffed animals except for Buttons, who still sleeps on my bed. My mother helps. She doesn't ask questions, just packs boxes and labels them and carries them to the garage. When we're done, Emma's room looks like a regular guest room. Clean. Empty. Ready for a future I can't yet imagine. You did good, sweetheart. My mother says, hugging me in the doorway. It doesn't feel good. It's not supposed to, but it's necessary. That night, I sleep in my bed with Buttons tucked under my arm, and I dream about Emma for the first time in months. In the dream, she's healthy. We're at the beach, the same beach from Sarah's contact photo. Emma's building sandcastles and laughing, and I'm watching her with the kind of uncomplicated joy I haven't felt since before she got sick. When I wake up, I'm crying. But they're different tears. Not grief tears exactly. Memory tears. The kind that hurt but also heal. In August, I receive a letter in the mail. It's from Sarah. I recognize her handwriting on the envelope. My first instinct is to throw it away unopened. Angela's voice. Don't engage. But curiosity wins. I open it. The letter is 3 pages, handwritten. David, I don't expect you to read this. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even expect you to understand. But I need to write it anyway, because I need to say things I should have said a year ago. You were right about everything. I was having an affair. I did miss Emma's death because I was with Marcus. I did say I was relieved. All of it is true, and all of it is unforgivable. But here's what else is true. I loved Emma. I loved her so much it terrified me. When she was born, I thought I knew what love was. But holding her for the first time, I realized I'd never loved anything properly before. She was perfect and tiny in mine, and the love was so overwhelming it felt like drowning. And then she got sick, and that love turned into fear. Every day, I was afraid. Afraid she'd die. Afraid she'd suffer. Afraid I'd lose her. Afraid I'd lose myself trying to save her. I know you were afraid too, but you processed it differently. You fought. You stayed present. You loved her harder. I ran. I found ways to distance myself. Work, Marcus, anything that let me pretend for a few hours that I wasn't Emma's mother, that I didn't have a dying child, that my life wasn't falling apart. By the time November came, I was so far gone I couldn't find my way back. When you called to say Emma was dying, I genuinely intended to come. I got in my car. I drove halfway there, and then I had a panic attack so severe I had to pull over. I sat in that Starbucks parking lot for 45 minutes trying to breathe, trying to make myself do the right thing, trying to be the mother Emma deserved. I couldn't do it. I was too afraid, too broken, too ashamed of how broken I was. So I went to Marcus instead, because Marcus didn't know the broken version of me. He only knew the version I pretended to be at work, competent, confident, put together. With him, I could pretend Emma wasn't dying. I could pretend I wasn't failing. And yes, I said terrible things that day. Things I'll never forgive myself for. When I said I was relieved, I didn't mean I wanted Emma to die. I meant I was relieved the waiting would finally be over. The 7 years of watching her suffer, of knowing each day might be her last, of living in constant fear that would finally end. It was selfish and cruel, and you had every right to expose me for it. Everything you did after that, the email, the divorce, the destruction of my life, was justified. I don't blame you. I blame myself. I lost my job. I lost my family's respect. I lost you. I lost any chance of ever being remembered as anything other than the monster who abandoned her dying daughter. But David, the worst thing I lost was Emma. Not just her death, I lost her whole life. The last 2 years, I was so checked out, so focused on my affair and my escape plan, that I missed thousands of moments with her. Bedtime stories, movie nights, the way she'd hold my hand when she was scared. I missed her, even when she was right there. And then I missed her death because I was too cowardly to face what I'd become. You asked me once if I loved her. At the end, the answer is yes. I loved her so much it broke me. And instead of letting you see me broken, instead of asking for help, I ran. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I'm not asking you to respond to this letter or to ever speak to me again. I'm just asking you to know that I'm sorry. I'm sorry I failed Emma. I'm sorry I failed you. I'm sorry for everything. Marcus and I aren't together, by the way. We never were, really. It was always an escape fantasy, never a real relationship. He moved to Chicago after his divorce. I haven't spoken to him in months. I'm living with my parents, working at a restaurant, because no one in my industry will hire me, going to therapy, trying to figure out how to live with what I did. Some days I think I can't. Some days the guilt is so overwhelming I don't know how to keep breathing. But then I think about Emma, and I think she wouldn't want me to give up. She was always so brave, even when things were impossible. So I try to be brave too. I don't know if this letter helps anything. Maybe it just makes things worse. But I needed you to know that you weren't wrong about me, and you weren't cruel in exposing me. You were a father protecting his daughter's memory. That's all you ever were. I hope someday you find peace, David. You deserve it more than anyone. Sarah. I read the letter 3 times. Then I fold it carefully and put it in the same folder as my letter to myself. I don't respond. I'm not ready for that. Maybe I never will be. But something loosens in my chest. Some knot I've been carrying for 8 months. Sarah doesn't get to be forgiven. Not by me, maybe not by anyone. But she gets to be understood, at least a little bit. And maybe that's enough. It's November again. 1 year since Emma died. 1 year since Sarah's betrayal. 1 year since I sent that email and set everything in motion. I'm sitting in Dr. Okafor's office, our 67th session. I've been coming every week for 10 months now, working through grief and anger and guilt. How are you feeling about tomorrow? Dr. Okafor asks. Tomorrow is the anniversary of Emma's death. Sad, I say honestly, but not destroyed. Is that okay? That I'm not destroyed? It's more than okay, David. It means you're healing. I still miss her every day. You always will. That doesn't go away. But the weight of it changes. It becomes something you carry differently. I know it. This is true. The grief is still there, but it's not the overwhelming, suffocating thing it was a year ago. It's quieter now. A constant ache instead of a screaming wound. I've been thinking about Sarah's letter, I tell Dr. Okafor. The one she sent in August. And I think I understand now what you meant about revenge not healing grief. I hurt Sarah because I was in pain. I wanted her to feel what I was feeling. And she does. She's been punished, publicly and privately. But her suffering doesn't bring Emma back. It doesn't undo what happened. It just means we're both broken instead of just me. That's a significant realization. It doesn't mean I forgive her. I clarify. I don't know if I ever will. What she did was unforgivable. Forgiveness isn't required for healing, Dr. Okafor says. Sometimes understanding is enough. I understand that Sarah was drowning. I understand that she coped terribly. I understand that fear made her selfish. I pause. I also understand that I was ruthless in my response. I could have handled the divorce privately. I could have exposed the affair without making it viral. I chose scorched earth because I wanted Sarah to suffer. Do you regret that choice? I think carefully. I regret that Emma became a symbol instead of just being remembered as my daughter. I regret that the story became about Sarah's betrayal instead of Emma's life. I regret the anger I carried for so long. But do you regret exposing Sarah? No, I admit. She needed consequences. Marcus needed consequences. What they did was wrong, and silence would have meant condoning it. I just wish I'd found a way to hold them accountable that didn't consume me in the process. Dr. Okafor smiles slightly. That's growth, David. After therapy, I drive to the cemetery. It's cold, the first frost of the season. Emma's grave has flowers on it. My mother came yesterday to leave purple tulips, Emma's favorite. I sit on the cold ground and talk to my daughter. Hey, Emma Bean. It's been a year. A whole year without you. Some days it feels like you just left. Other days it feels like forever. I pull buttons out of my jacket. I brought him today, thought Emma might want to visit. I've been going to therapy. Dr. Okafor is nice. She'd like you. She has a daughter around your age. Well, around the age you'd be now. 8. You'd be 8. The wind picks up. I zip my jacket higher. I've been thinking a lot about Mom. About what happened. I was so angry at her, Emma. So angry I wanted to destroy her. And I did, kind of. I made her life hell because mine was hell. I trace Emma's name on the headstone. But Dr. Okafor says anger was just grief in disguise. I was grieving you, grieving my marriage, grieving the life I thought we'd have. And I didn't know how to process that. So I turned it into revenge. A bird lands nearby, cocks its head at me. I don't know if you can hear me, wherever you are. I don't know if there's a heaven or an afterlife or anything like that. But if you can hear me, I want you to know, you were the best thing that ever happened to me. You were brave and kind and funny, and you taught me more about love in 7 years than most people learn in a lifetime. My voice cracks. I'm sorry Mom wasn't there when you died. I'm sorry I couldn't fix you. I'm sorry for a lot of things. But I'm not sorry for loving you. I'm not sorry for fighting for you. And I'm not sorry for making sure people knew what you meant to me. I sit with Emma for an hour, just being present with her memory. When I finally stand to leave, I tuck buttons against her headstone. You keep him company, okay? I'll visit again soon. At home, I make dinner. Actual dinner, not casserole, and eat at the table instead of standing at the counter. Small victories. My phone buzzes. A text from Linda Reed. Thinking about you today. 1 year. I hope you're doing okay. Me, getting there. How are you? Linda, better every day. The kids and I are good. Marcus is still in Chicago. Life moves on. Me, it does. Linda, that's not a bad thing, you know. Life moving on. Emma would want that for you. I stare at the text for a long time. Emma would want that for me. She'd want me to be happy, to rebuild, to find joy again. She was always trying to make people happy, even when she was suffering. Maybe it's time to try. I open my laptop and pull up a document I've been working on for weeks. A personal essay about Emma. Not about Sarah or the affair or the revenge. Just about Emma. Who she was. What she taught me. Why she mattered. I've been submitting it to parenting magazines, grief counseling sites, anywhere that might publish it. Not to go viral. I've had enough of that. But to honor Emma's memory in a way that's about her. Not about what happened after she died. The essay is titled The Girl Who Loved Purple, a father's memory of his brave daughter. It's been rejected 4 times. But I keep submitting it. Because Emma deserves to be remembered for more than the circumstances of her death. She deserves to be remembered for her life. At 10 p.m., my phone buzzes again. Another text, another unknown number. David, it's Sarah. I know I'm blocked on your regular number. I'm using a friend's phone. I'm not asking for anything. I just wanted to say I'm thinking about Emma today. About you. I hope you're okay. That's all. S. I stare at the message for a long time. A year ago, I would have blocked this number immediately. Would have been furious at Sarah for reaching out. Now I'm just tired. I type a response. I'm okay. Working on being better than okay. I hope you're doing the same. I hit send before I can overthink it. 3 dots appear. Then disappear. Then appear again. Finally, I'm trying. Thank you for responding. That means more than you know. I don't respond again. But I don't block the number either. Baby steps. 2 weeks later, I get an email from a website called Modern Loss. They want to publish my essay about Emma. I read the acceptance email 3 times, then call Dr. Okafor. They want to publish it, I tell her. The essay about Emma. Someone wants to tell her story. David, that's wonderful. How do you feel? Terrified. Relieved. Like maybe Emma's memory can be about more than one terrible day. That's exactly what it should be about, Dr. Okafor says warmly. Emma was more than how she died. This essay proves that. The essay publishes in December. The response is overwhelming. Hundreds of comments from parents who've lost children, from people who remember their own brave kids, from strangers who just want to say Emma mattered. No one mentions Sarah. No one mentions the affair. The viral story from a year ago is old news, forgotten by everyone except those of us who lived it. This new story, Emma's story, stands on its own. And for the first time in over a year, I feel like I've done something right. On Christmas Eve, I invite my parents over for dinner. My sister flies in from Portland. James and his wife come. Linda Reed stops by with cookies and stays for coffee. We don't talk about Emma, but she's present anyway. In the purple ornament my mother hangs on the tree. In the moment of silence before dinner. In the way everyone carefully avoids certain topics. But we also laugh. We tell stories. We watch It's a Wonderful Life and drink too much wine. Life moves on. It's not the life I planned. It's not the life I wanted. My daughter is gone. My marriage is over. I'm rebuilding from rubble. But I'm rebuilding. And maybe that's enough. On New Year's Eve, I write a list of resolutions. Continue therapy. Volunteer at the Children's Hospital in Emma's name. Write more. Essays, memories, anything that keeps Emma's story alive in a healthy way. Let go of anger. Still working on this one. Forgive myself for not being perfect. Also still working on this. Maybe, eventually, forgive Sarah. Not ready yet. Maybe never, but open to the possibility. Live in a way Emma would be proud of. I tape the list to my bathroom mirror where I'll see it every morning. At midnight, I stand in my backyard and watch fireworks explode over the neighborhood. New year, new chapter, new possibility. Emma would be 8 years and 5 months old now. She'd be in 3rd grade. She'd probably still love purple. She'd probably still be stubborn and brave and kind. I miss her with an ache that will never fully heal. But I'm learning to carry that ache differently. Not as a wound, but as a scar. Evidence of love that ran so deep it left a permanent mark. My phone buzzes. A text from that blocked-unblocked number. Sarah. Happy New Year, David. I'm 6 months sober now. Working on being someone Emma could be proud of. Even if it's too late. Even if she's gone. I'm trying. I hope you're trying too. I read the message twice. 6 months sober. I didn't know Sarah had a drinking problem. But it makes sense. Another thing she was hiding. Another way she was coping badly. I type back. Happy New Year. Keep trying. We all are. It's not forgiveness. It's not reconciliation. But it's acknowledgement that we're both still here, both still broken, both still trying to figure out how to live in the aftermath of the worst thing that ever happened to us. And for now, that's enough. The fireworks continue to explode overhead, brilliant against the dark sky. I think about Emma, about Sarah, about the year of grief and anger and revenge and slow, painful healing. Dr. Okafor asked me once what I wanted my story to be about. A year ago, I would have said justice, revenge, making Sarah pay for what she did. Now I think I want it to be about love. About a father who loved his daughter so much he couldn't let go. Not of her memory, not of his anger, not of anything, until he learned how to carry it all differently. I'm not healed. I'm not whole. I'm not anywhere close to okay. But I'm here, still breathing, still trying, still honoring Emma in the best way I know how. And maybe, just maybe, that's what justice really looks like. Not revenge, not destruction, just truth, just love, just the slow, aching work of turning grief into something that doesn't destroy you. The last firework explodes in a shower of purple sparks. I smile despite the tears on my face. Happy New Year, Emma Bean. I whisper to the stars. I'm still here, still loving you, still trying to make you proud. The wind carries my words away into the night. And somewhere, in memory, in love, in the permanent mark she left on my soul, Emma answers back. I know, Daddy. I know.